Hello and welcome everyone to this live demo session on SAP ABAP on HANA Come S4 HANA technical training with CDS views, AMDP, OData services and Fiori Elements with Business Application Studio. In this demo session, we are going to look at the basic core capabilities from a technical standpoint on S4 HANA. We will learn about what is SAP S4 HANA and how as an ABAP developer you can plan your move to S4HANA to build your career with the latest technologies. Having said that, let's try and understand the agenda for this demo today. In this demo session, I'm going to first make you understand who is this training for, so you can map yourself to the developer persona for this training. Then we will look at the overview of this course. What can you expect in the next 40 hours on this journey? In the third section, we will discuss about our real-time use case. I will take a live use case at front of you in the demo session, and we will be building a simple S4HANA application today. Followed by that, some of the FAQs which were asked by many of you on my YouTube channel. My name is Anubhav. I have total 20 years of experience in the field of SAP. I've been working as a S4HANA consultant over now 10 years, and I've been developing and building solutions and application as a architect in multiple SAP systems. With that, let's get started with our demo. So first let's understand how can you map your current job profile and developer persona with this training. If you're working like James on, who is an ABAP consultant and willing to embrace the change in the technology to make your ABAP program run faster and better on HANA database, this training is going to help you. If you're working like a Scrum professional, for example, like Gracia, who would like to understand how HANA based or S4 HANA based developments work in a company and estimate a better for tomorrow, this training is also going to help you. If you are working like Bowman, who is a BW consultant, and now finding it difficult to gel with industry because industry is implementing S4 HANA with embedded analytics, and you would like to also build CDS views for your data analytics and insights in SAP system, and then expose that to Analytics Cloud or other analytical tools, this training is also going to help you. We will also cover the embedded analytics as part of this training. If you're working as any SAP consultant like Mary, who is working as a technical enthusiast and would like to build Fiori applications on top of CDS views and exploit the full potential of HANA database, this training is also going to help you. Having said that, let's try and understand what can you expect in the next 40 hours of this journey. In the next 40 hours of this journey, we will begin with introduction to SAP HANA along with latest development tools like ADT and how to set up these tools in your laptop. We will talk about evolution of SAP NetWeaver and the new ABAP syntax. Many of you are not comfortable still using classic ABAP, yet you willing to learn new ABAP syntax with latest frameworks like IDA and fuzzy search. In the second phase, we will learn about S4 HANA, what it means for you and your company if you go to S4 HANA, how can you help your company to perform custom code conversion and leverage the power of S4 HANA systems to build virtual data models and also create CDS views and AMDP. You will also see how can you migrate your code from ECC system to S4 HANA as a technical consultant. In the next phase, you will understand the architecture and the detailing of HANA database, including core concepts of HANA like data modeling of views and consuming that in the ABAP layer. You can also learn how to consume existing artifacts in the database in the ABAP layer and give access to the user for reports. In the last phase, we will spend much more time in the topics like CDS views, VDMs, ABAP Managed Data Procedure, building OData services to expose data out in the internet, and building Fiori application for our customers. Fiori is the new user experience for our S4HANA system. It is considered to be the default user experience in S4HANA. So you will learn how to build amazing Fiori apps based on top of CDS view, not just the display apps, but also transactional apps and analytical apps using embedded analytics. We will also learn about some of the integration points like integrating your applications with analytics cloud and stuff like that. All right, so with that overview, let's talk about the process which we will follow in today's demo. In today's demo, I will first begin our development tool. We will create a very simple CDS view in today's session. Then I will show you how to add annotations on top of CDS view and then create a service. Because in order to build a productive application for our end users, we need to build a web service. This web service is also called as OData service. Then we will register the service and finally consume this service to build a analytical application of type analytic list page. So this will be a 5-step demo in the live system today. Having said that, let's talk about the use case for today's session. Our requirement today is to design and develop an application to see and analyze different shows and movies along with the distribution and genres in Netflix. So I would have the Netflix data in my SAP system, which shows the shows and movies IDs, and I would like to analyze depending on the different ratings, year and genre, these different particular movies and shows in a analytic list page application. The good news is this is purely the custom data. So you will understand how can even you in your company utilize your company data to build such a dashboard for your organization. Please note that this is just a demo. Some of the demo parts you may not understand in today's class because you have still a gap of knowledge. However, I'll try to keep it simple for all of you. So with that, let's quickly move on to the system. And I have already logged in into our SAP S4HANA system. And you can see here there is a simple database table. Now, what is this development environment? So the development environment, what you see is called as ABAP development tool on Eclipse. That's a default development environment for a developer to build S4 applications. In my next episode tomorrow, I will take you through and explain you how can you set up this development environment in your own laptop or in your company laptop. That will be the topic for tomorrow's class. But today we already have it available and we will be utilizing this database table and this tool to build our application. I have this simple database table which contains the Netflix shows and movies data with show ID, type of the object, whether it is a show or a movie, title, director, country, year of release, rating, duration, and description. This is the typical data which I have simple data to understand for all of you in my system. Our requirement is now to create a dashboard application for our end user. So you will see in next 30 minutes how easy it is to create a dashboard for our company. Now, what I will do, first of all, I will create a CDS view on top of this database table. Now, a brief introduction quickly about what is a CDS view. CDS stands for Core Data and Services, and it is an extension of OpenSQL in SAP system. So what is that you typically do with OpenSQL? You write select queries perhaps and then read the data from database tables. After that, you expose this data to your reports. In a very similar manner, you can use this new concept of CDS or core data and services. By building CDS views, you can expose your critical business critical ERP data out in the open world, even create APIs and build integrations as well as applications. So what we will nowadays do, we will have the database as the HANA. On top of this database, we will have our SAP system, which is essentially here the S4 HANA system. And in this S4 HANA system, we will build a CDS view. This will be our CDS view. And this view we will create via the tool called ADT tool, which I was showing you. That is what we will do. After this is created, we will create a web service. We call it as OData service. Don't worry if you are new to OData. In the coming episodes, I will give you complimentary lecture on OData as well. And finally, we will create a application, a analytical application. We call it as Fiori app. To build Fiori app, we use another tool called Business Application Studio tool. So as a developer, you will be using these two tools. So let's go ahead and create a CDS view to extract the data from that Netflix database table and then create a web service on top. So I'll head over back to this development tool. This is our ABAP development tool on Eclipse. I will show you the setup of this tool in our next class. So you will also be able to practice all of this in your own system after the training. Okay, so now I will right click on my local object and create a new ABAP repository object to create a new CDS view. I'll search for core data and services and we will create a new data definition. Click on next. We will provide now a name. So let me give a name Z Anubhav Trainings CDS Netflix. Next, Netflix data for shows and movies. We click on next button. Since I'm using local object, there is no transport. And now you can see the template screen. So SAP is providing this latest tooling and we are living in 21st century with these updated tools. So SAP have ability to automatically generate basic skeleton of your CDS definition. As a result of that, a developer only have to fill in few parts to be able to complete their development. This is the beauty of latest and updated tools. So let's create a CDS view entity to expose our Netflix data out of the system. I click on finish. And now I will just come here and put our database table name. So our database table name was ZATS Netflix. So that's our namespace and Netflix. Perfect. So you can see it has got these block of code auto generated. This block of code is called annotation. Annotation holds a special status for these kind of objects. I will talk about annotations in detail in our unit number 11 in the training. So I will explain you the purpose of each and every annotation in the system. So hold your breath as it's a demo. We are not going into too much of details. But what is important to focus here is this database table. So we are selecting the data from table and now inside we are going to add all the properties. So I do control space and get all the properties from my database table. Fantastic. Now it's time to activate and we are good with our first data model, which is very much equivalent of our table to expose our data out. So I can F8 to test it and there we have the data. All right. So what's my next step? So after creating view, it's time to create a service because ultimate goal is to build a Fiori application. So I will switch over back and add a special annotation OData.publish. OData is a open data protocol to expose your data over HTTP or over REST protocol. So if you want to expose your data as a service so that any web application like Fiori can reuse this, we have to create a service like this. Cool. So with this annotation, a service will automatically get created. Let me reactivate. Done. So now once it is activated, you can see a icon which tells you the name of the service which was automatically created. You can notice it's the name of the view underscore CDS. So that's the service name. So now we have to register this service, which is a one-time activity. To be able to do that, I'll open Control 6, a GUI window, and I go to a transaction code /n/IWFND /main service. Now here many of the things are new to many of you. Just enjoy the show. All of these things in detail we will discuss in our detailed training. This is just a demo, a one plain vanilla flow I'm showing you. How can we end-to-end develop a simple application? Okay, I click on add service, choose registration detail of my service. Okay, so we will activate that local object and now it's ready. So we have, congratulations, we have got a web service created, which then can be used to create a application later on. If you want to test that web service, you can go to the outline view over here, and here you see OData exposure. You can just open. This will now open our web service in the local browser. So I can just maybe test in the Chrome browser, and you can see this is our web service. So this is the CDS name. You can put on the top to see the data also. If you are new to OData, don't worry. I will cover the basics of OData for all of you as part of this training. So you don't need to have any prior knowledge on OData and services. It will be covered as part of this training already for all of you. Okay. So now what is my last step? So we created a view on top of our table. We created a service, and now finally we will build a application. Let's go ahead and build an application now. So to be able to build, you as a developer, what tool do you use? You use the BAS tool. Again, I will explain you in unit number 9 how to set up the BAS tool free for yourself to be able to practice. This is all part of your training in detail. So you will go out of this training with lot of hands-on and exercises and scenarios. If you are beginner with S4HANA, don't worry. Anubhav will take care everything for you. All right, so let's go to the BAS tool. It's already ready here and waiting for us to create an application. So we open the welcome page for BAS tool and we will build an application. So let's create a application from template. Again, we are living in 21st century. The tooling have improved a lot. It helps developers to quickly build and generate applications out of the box. So we choose a Fiori app, and then it loads all the available templates which we can use to build an app. I use a analytic list page which will bring the dashboard capability as well as reporting capability. Now I will choose a data source. So what is the data source? Of course, it's my company S4HANA system. So we have just created a connection also to S4HANA. All of this we will cover in detail in our course. So I will choose my company S4HANA system from the BAS tool. And of course, we will use our service name. This is our service name. I copy that. And now I will enter the service name over here to be able to navigate to the service and consume the data. So let's see this in action. Okay, so I will now enter the name of my service. You can see I found the service over here and I select to click on next button. So let's click on next button after choosing the service, and we will just leave everything as it is to create our first application. So let's call the module name, and we will give the module name as, let's say, what could be the name? We can give Netflix. Yeah, and then we can finish. That's it. So how easy was that to create your application with the template? So you can see system is now generating the application over here. Yes, and it will automatically generate all the skeleton part of our app. It will also take care of connectivity with our SAP system and eventually load all the data from the server. So we will be able to test this application in a moment. So how does a typical analytical application or analytic list page application look like? What are the components it has? So it is just like a traditional report in ABAP. On the top, it will have a filter bar where user is allowed to filter the data. So there will be fields, filter fields. These are called as UI selection fields. Then in the middle, it will have a analytics section where it can add a kind of a chart to show some data analytics, data insights. This is done using UI chart. And finally, at the bottom, it will have a report. No report is complete without a table. In traditional ABAP, you create ALV. Here we create UI table, and the table contains multiple columns. This is done by UI line item annotation in CDS. So let's go ahead and see this in action. We will be adding these components to our view, and as a result, those components will give the generation to my UI. Okay, let's first test the app in the bash tool. This will be pretty much empty. This application, when I start, it will be very much empty. There won't be any, yeah, there won't be any additional features over here. So this will be pretty much a blank application system will show me. So I will just test it. So in this training, you will learn about developing, packaging, building, deploying, transporting, complete life cycle of your application end to end. So as a developer, you will get to know all the parts of an application, how to design and develop and deliver it to the end user in the production system. So this is all will be part of this training. Complete package this one will be. Okay, so here you go. It's booting up and you will get almost nothing in this app. Yeah, just a basic entry point. You can see it doesn't have any selection field, doesn't have a chart, doesn't have a table. You can manually choose the columns. Yeah, some columns, and then you can just go. So it shows some data, but of course this is not what we want a default experience. So we will be adding three important parts. So first we will add a chart. Now a chart is built via x-axis and y-axis. In school days we used to study charts in schooling, right, in mathematics. So when you create a chart, you typically have x-axis and y-axis. So we have x-axis and we have y-axis. On x-axis, we will actually go ahead and add the category. Yes, on y-axis, we will add values. In SAP, this is called dimension. And on y-axis, this value is called measure. Suppose you are plotting the marks of a student in different subject like social science, mathematics, and English. Yeah. So on x-axis, you will put the category, and on y-axis, you put the marks, which is value. Let's go ahead and now build the chart. So what I want to do, I want to put here my dimensions and measures accordingly. So I will come here and put my chart type, and we would want to create a column chart. Then we will put dimension name, and we will put dimension as, let's say, in which, what is the type of this application. So S type, and I will put dimension attributes. Show my S type dimension on x-axis with role as category. Fantastic. And then I'll put measure. My measure will be, let's say I want to show here. So I need to check any numeric column in my table. So I don't have a numeric column in the table. So I will just probably create a numeric column as 1 as counter. So this I have created as a numeric column, and I will use counter to basically count those records as a x-axis, as a y-axis. So it will show me the total count of shows and movies. So let's put here a measure counter role as axis1 as data point. Fantastic. So that is it. We are good to go with that chart. Next part, we want to also show selection field for filtering our data. So I put an annotation for selection field. So I will just put here 2 selection fields. And now I will also add columns. So for that we use line item annotation. In session number 13 and 14, I will cover once again this topic in detail. This is just a demo, so I'm showing you a plain vanilla use case. So 2, country 3, third column in my table, fourth column in my table, and finally the fifth column in my table. So there are 5 columns I'm creating. Good. We are done. It's time that we activate. And now let's test our app. So you can notice that whatever annotations we put in CDS view, these will eventually transform into the user interface. That's the power of CDS. So we'll come back to the Fiori app and refresh our app over here to see our data now. User experience will appear for us on the screen. And yes, there you go. You can see there are 2 selection fields now. So called for the year and the type. And then if I hit the go button, it should also prepare a table with all the data, and wow, there you go, the chart. So you can actually see the type of chart, how many total movies and shows are there in Netflix. It is also possible to tweak and change the chart type depending on the need. But one interesting point is these labels are not proper. So that also can be controlled via annotations. So we will be looking all of this detail in our detailed training, of course, as in when we progress. I will once again open up this chapter, same chapter, and in detail I will explain all the annotations and how to build an end-to-end application. So that is it for a very short demo. And now it's time to move some of the FAQs asked by you in the past. So Anubhav, do I need to have any prior knowledge on HANA to attend this training? No, there is no prior knowledge on HANA required for this course. We will cover the HANA foundation for you. How much does ABAP knowledge is required to learn ABAP on HANA? Only basic ABAP knowledge like data dictionary, internal table, basic ABAP syntax is more than enough to learn ABAP on HANA. Again, we would not need a detailed knowledge on ABAP on HANA. Again, only 30% of the training would need ABAP knowledge. Remaining 70% training is as new as for any ABAP developer or non-ABAP developer. So even colleagues coming from BW background can also learn. They don't need much ABAP for this course. I am a BI or BW consultant. Can I learn ABAP on HANA? Yes. And you must also learn because nowadays in S4 HANA embedded analytics, we depend a lot on CDS. So it is very, very important that you use CDS views and learn CDS views with this training. How much of OOPS ABAP is required? Not much. Basics of class interface, if you know, that's more than enough to learn this course. Anubhav, what about server access? So guys, we can arrange a server access. If you do not have one in your company. So we will guide you in our next unit how to get our experience of our server at a single place with anubhavtrainings.com. So we will be guiding you the process of getting the server access in our very next class tomorrow. So which version of HANA and S4 HANA are we going to use for this course? We will be using latest SAP S4 HANA and HANA 2.0 with ABAP layer for this training. How much of this course we spend the time on CDS views? So almost 40 to 50% time of this training we will be spending on CDS and CDS entities. Do I need any prior knowledge on OData? As I mentioned already, no. There is no prior knowledge on OData required for this course. We will be providing complimentary OData sessions for those who are absolute beginner on OData. Can I also take this course in video mode as the timing doesn't suit me? Yes, certainly. You can also start with video mode learning, or in case you want to fast track your learning and don't want to wait for live classes, you can also take our latest up-to-date video recording sessions of the most recently completed batch. What tools are we going to use in this training to build applications? So as you saw in the demo, I will be using ADT tool, ABAP development tool on Eclipse, along with SAP Business Application Studio to build applications. Both of the tools setup will be explained to you as part of this training. So, how to join this training, Anubhav? To join this training, we can utilize, you can send us an email on contact@anubhavtrainings.com to join the course. Yeah, so that's the process to enroll for this training. Send us an email on contact@anubhavtrainings.com and you will be comfortably be able to join this course as well. Having said that, once again, thank you so much for your time today on this demo session. I hope to see you in my next class tomorrow at the same time. Have a nice day and goodbye.